how do you go pro as a gravel racer, and how did you go pro as a road racer? These are two very different things. We've got one guy here who has done both of them and has recently launched a new program called Phase 2 to help younger riders make the jump from racing as high schoolers to doing it professionally. Alexey Vermeulen, how are you, sir? What is the secret? Before we get there, what is Phase 2?
Phase 2 came about in October when I was talking to a high school athlete about what he wanted to do next. And I thought maybe I could have a small impact on the pathway from high school leagues to what we're doing right now in the Lifetime Grand Prix.
Phase 2 is support for 2 athletes going to 3 different Lifetime Grand Prix races, having equipment. Envy is supporting it with a bicycle, wheels, Shimano supporting it. I assume Lifetime supporting it with entries.
Turlzumi, Kenda, everyone's. Most of my companies are on board because I think they see a lot of the value that I see. And so 3 of the smaller Lifetime races.
Transportation is included, like getting there, getting put up, etc., because those are logistical hurdles. Which leads me to part of my first long-winded question, which is how do you become an athlete professionally in cycling, and how is that different from what it used to be? Because once upon a time, your job was to pedal the bicycle quickly, and that was it. Somebody, racing in Europe, somebody's washing your clothes, someone's cooking you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is not so much the case anymore. So tell folks like how you got into racing as a professional, racing on the likes of Jumbo in Europe.
Yeah, no, I think it's changed a lot. And so I started racing growing up in Michigan. There was no high school leagues. I had a development pathway that USA Cycling had above my bed, and it was very much like...
The pathway started above your bed.
Yeah, it started above my bed, and I'd cross it off. It's not still there for anyone who's... I'm not going to disclose
go to
my
Alex's
address.
mom's house.
So yeah, you started with local results, and then you go to a regional development camp, and then you get some national results, and then you get a chance to go to Europe maybe. And then from there, you go to World Championships, or you go the collegiate route, or you go race in Europe competitively. And I pretty much crossed that off all the way to when I raced for Jumbo, which was cool. Like went through junior programs, went through under 23 programs. And that was, I think, nice for a sense of just a young kid who wanted to just know what was next, or set. It made it easier to set goals. And then from there, moving to the juxtaposition of being a gravel pro, there is no pathway. I get people asking me all the time, and I haven't had a good answer for a while. And it's not that it's not explained out in front of you. It's more that it's just, there's not really a great way right now, because I don't think the most conducive path is through Unbound 200 for an 18-year-old. And
Sure.
That's what's been difficult to help with.
Also, one fundamental difference is there aren't, with a few minor exceptions, there aren't teams in gravel. It was like with Jumbo, that is a team.
Yep.
You work. It's like working for a company. You apply for the job, and if you get picked, then you have a very finite list of things you have to do as that job.
Yeah.
And the corporation, the team takes care of a lot of things. In gravel, there is no team that you're applying to. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure like a common question is like, do you get paid for this? Like, are you a gravel? Because again, like a World Tour peloton, everyone in that peloton, it's their job to race bikes.
It's a minimum salary. Yeah.
You go to Unbound, most of the people have other jobs and are paying to be there, and there's a select few people who are doing it for a living, and there's no clear way to do so. What do you tell kids when they ask how do I do what you're doing?
It's a long-winded answer, which is why I have Phase 2. But no, I think the point of it being, I think what I try to convey to kids is that right now, gravel racing, privateer racing, for most of us, is based on relationships and balancing said relationships while racing your bike. You can be a Keegan or a Sophia and win almost everything. I haven't been able to do that, so I try to find that balance between how can I truly be a valuable member that a company can point at and say, that employee was useful. And then have that communication and have everything work as really well, so that there's a growth and a wane throughout my career where I get to a point where maybe I'm paid the most I ever am, but right after that point, it doesn't drop off, right? There's a conversation about, hey, we think you're worth less, this is why now. And it's like a real job conversation. Because the difference is having a team and having a single rider is you're judged on everything, right? Your results, you're judged on if you're walking around the expo, how long or who you communicated with, you're judged on your social media. And there's ways to work through all of that. You don't have to be perfect at every one, but you need to have a foot in every category. And that can be really time consuming and really stressful.
Yeah, you talk about relationships. You're talking about relationships with individual brands.
Yeah.
So say a young rider out there wants to get involved in phase 2. What is the process?
Yeah, so phase 2 is somewhat simple right now. It's going to be an application process. It'll be open for about 10 days. And the goal is that we find people that fit athletically, and that kind of means somebody who's ready to race Unbound 100, right? Is ready to race Big Sugar 50 and Tusher and the Crusher, some of the hardest races in the country, but also has a desire to learn and kind of make a career in cycling, right, with an unknown. The goal is that after this year, there starts to be a development budget created. So, Shimano says, oh, we have $1,000, or Kenda says, oh, we have $1,000. And you can get to that point of what I had on BNC development when I had my development pathway of, here's $15,000, learn how to use it, learn how to pay taxes, learn how to be a functioning young person in society. And before you are able to be at the front winning Grand Prix races, which has a value attached to it now, and make a full living in the US.
What age range of folks are you looking at?
So we're looking for 1 male, 1 female between 18 and 23. So that high school, leaving high school into college a little bit.
How many people in North America are making a living racing gravel now?
That's a hard question. Depends on what you consider living. I would say probably there's 15 to 20 making like a real living. And I think there's a lot of people who are trying to figure out if they like cycling enough to want to leave their job. I mean, my girlfriend races professional triathlon and loves her job probably more than she does the sport. I think
loves her job working at Wahoo. Yeah, 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's trying to find, exactly. It's trying to find where that fits for everybody. And I think that's the goal, is you don't need to know that you want to be a professional athlete, but you've been focused on it. You've had a goal to be there. And this is that chance to get some support, have someone believe in you throughout the process for a year.
Often it seems that there's a bit of more of a disparity on the female side versus the male side of, and this may be an incorrect perception, but it seems like there are more women working day jobs and racing, at least in North American gravel, than men.
Yeah.
So just thinking about this weekend, old man winner Deanna Mills is out there. She's a RockShox engineer Monday, Friday.
Yeah, for sure. And I think women have just made it happen for a long time. I think cycling was really skewed toward males for a long time. You look at the domestic scene for pros back on the road. And I think as gravel has come in and it has become more accessible, we've had a shift a little bit where it starts to become more equal, but we're still not there. And so that's the goal of this project even further, is that hopefully Sarah Sturman Specialized can pick it up next year, right? And carry maybe 2 females, right? And Payson, when Allied, want to pick it up. I went and asked Envy to be a part of this because I respect their partnership with me. They respect what my goals as an athlete and as a person. And so this is not something to be owned. We hope that if someone sees this now and has time before the race season starts, if they want to do this, do it.
It could be
the goal is
of sorts.
Yeah, to create a collective development pathway that's not weight bearing or financial bearing on any one party. Because I think it's easy to point fingers and say, USA Cycling's not doing enough, or Lifetime's not doing enough. But it's not their fault. They've all got their hands full too, doing their own things. It doesn't happen overnight. So I think I can focus on what I can focus on, and I'm already trying to think of ways to what female athletes I want to be mentored by one of the people we're going to bring in. But there's definitely a disparity in sport. And at some point, it will get there. It's just still going to take a little time, I think.
One final question for you, sir. What is the URL people should go to? Click here to find out more.
envy.com/phase2 with 2 the number.
Thanks, Alexey. Good on you for building up the next generation.
Thanks, Ben.
Hope it's a crushing success.
You're not able to apply, sorry.
Why are you saying I'm not 18?
I don't know,
18
but
to 23?
For you, we'd need a picture of your license.
I'm like 4 18 to 23s, all rolled into one.
If you had a leap year birthday, you'd be good. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Alexey.
Alexey! Okay! Let's go!
I flatted, I think the rear was fine.
We've got puff pills on both sides.
Awesome.
You want Coke? You want
Ice sock?
Ice sock.
Awesome, I got it.
Water?
I don't need that.
What pressure do you want?
That's plenty. That's, yeah. Let that out a little bit.
Sugar?
Here, hold these.
Paint? Where's the paint stick?
Okay.
Paint stick?
Get it.
Let's go. Get that in his pocket too.
Make sure he takes this win.
Good. Thank you. Let's go, Alexey!
Go, Alexey!
Let's go! Let's go!
Maybe that's
Got it, baby!
take the paint.
Come on, Alexey!